going live into the pistol round.
Yep.
And let's just see how this one pans out, Pete.
Let's do this thing. Astralis versus Team EnVyUs here. Map 2 in the ESL Pro League. Zipnix, Carrigan, Device, Kirby, and Dupree make up the Astralis roster. While EnVyUs, the Frenchman, Kenny S, NBK, Happy, Apex, and Devil. It is EnVyUs' map pick. They will start on the terrorist side of things. Dupree getting into that small ladder room early to try and get some information. Bullets will fly there and the glass will be broken. Not sure for which windows just yet. Astralis won't know. EnVyUs will smoke the outside bomb site, but rest assured this is all an elaborate ruse and the pressure's going to come towards the inside bomb site.
It's a fantastic smoke, though. It actually goes and sits on the hump on low ramp. But now we will see this inside bomb site defense just overpower EnVyUs. They didn't really get too far, did they? Happy now. He was watching the rear guard, but unfortunately now has to go 1-on-4. He does find the first, takes down Dupree. Takes only a little bit of damage as well in doing so. So it's just now rests on his shoulders. They know exactly where he is, and Kirby is just actually biding his time on that high ramp. They're going to try and make Happy come to them, though. They've got the bomb down. They've got no reason to peek at him individually. So smart play here from Astralis. I wouldn't expect them to drop it from here.
No, it'll be a miraculous rabbit out of the hat move from Happy here, but that USP on the pistol round all he needs is a few swift headshots and it could go his way, but Zipnix there powers him down. Happy goes down. Astralis take the pistol round and they'll quickly buy up on this CT side. Already one rifle in play, a couple of SMGs. Now, Jim, the first 5 or 6 rounds of Mirage were crazy. It was Astralis winning the pistol, EnVyUs winning the eco, then Astralis winning their eco back, and then EnVyUs winning that eco back, and before the money cracked itself. So hopefully, a smoother start here for Astralis, but nothing's ever guaranteed.
It was like a Rocky Balboa fight, wasn't it? It was just a slugfest, and they were trading blows left, right, and center. And I don't expect this to be any different. You can see EnVyUs have bought into this with the Tech 9s. And there's the Eagles that NBK was just going ham with on Mirage in those earlier rounds. He does find another frag onto Device, so the trades are coming out. It is now down to a 4 versus 4. The CT side has been thinned slightly, but you can see now the T side are making their rotation, making their adjustment here, and they're going to try and regroup and overwhelm together. And that's where they stand a better chance. An angry mob of terrorists is a far more daunting prospect as we now see them try and put pressure on this outside bomb site.
Yeah, Carrigan lies in wait here at Mines. Dupree will open up the angle and pick up a double, so that should pretty much quell the round here for Astralis as Zipnix jumps up on that bomb train, tries to get the grenade to go. I think that will hit the mark. It does. Apex goes down, and that's a good round there for Astralis. They pick up the 2 M4s that they dropped, so nothing lost there for Astralis. They go up 2-0. Jim, good start for them. They needed this sort of start, and they'll be confident going into the 3rd round, especially since EnVyUs is still on this eco.
They should be confident anyway. They've retained 2 SMGs there with Device and Dupree actually taking the chance to try and farm some more money for their CT side, and you can see the advanced position of Dupree. Only gets 1 before he's taken down, and now they're going to try and concentrate their efforts here on the outside bomb site. Device whatnot are just farming the frags left, right, and center, and they didn't really get too far. They just ran straight into that meat grinder that was the outside bomb site. Rifles just showing to be far too strong.
Yeah, that was let's get this over with and get stuck into this gun round. Enough of the waiting around, says EnVyUs. They basically just punched their ticket in. P250s, no resources of any kind there in the previous round, but now they have the fruits of their labour. Kenny S on that orb, 4 AKs in tow. Everyone has head armour and a smoke grenade and a flash grenade, so they're well prepared, but straight away, Carrigan and Device going for this double orb setup as well. So that'll be interesting to see how that unfolds throughout. Only 3 kits though. Carrigan and Device obviously not using those with the orbs, but Device wins the orb battle against Kenny S, who jumps up on the bin, trying to get that early pick.
Normally you will see some sort of double peak there, some sort of insurance policy. I mean, even Na'Vi with Guardian in their midst actually do something like that. Kenny S, though, was, I guess, hung out to dry a little bit. He wasn't given that same sort of insurance policy, the double pick, but that results in him going down. The double AWP setup is so far so good for Astralis, but EnVyUs at the moment. They've still got a lot of time to work with. We haven't seen them, as I said, use any set executes per se, but using their teamwork, using their timing to collapse on this outside bomb site is what they're going to rely on here. That smoke is going to signify their intent to try and advance their position up at Vines, and they're going to try and utilize both NBK and Happy coming out of T-Connector and Short Ladder, respectively.
Yeah, the CT is so entrenched, though, in this outside bomb side. Zipnik's there, solo, holding the low ramp there. He's got a teammate at high ramp, but the 3 remaining counter-terrorists are going to sit on that bomb train and just lie in wait. The flashes eventually come out here. 20 seconds to go, so EnVyUs need to get a wriggle on here, or they will be left wanting. 16 seconds to go, and they've still got such a distance to travel and get that bomb down. 10 seconds, and this is looking grim right now for EnVyUs, and it will be the kill from Apex, and then Happy. This is a brilliant piece of late-round execution here from EnVyUs as they get the bomb down in the nick of time and are able to cover all the entry angles there for Astralis, and we're ball down to a 3 versus 3.
That's right. Devil actually picks up the frag onto Zipnik, so the numbers are being thinned. It's only the two AWPs left remaining, and I think right now they're just considering trying to save those. It's a hefty investment. It's also a hefty loss too if they do go down, so really going to try and place a premium on their own lives here. You can see that it's actually Devil that's in pursuit. He does catch out Carrigan, so that money has been eliminated from the bank. Thankfully, Device is able to save himself here, but no one from EnVyUs is close enough to pursue. They will save that AWP. And great round. That late execution coming out from EnVyUs has proven to be effective, and they made the trades work in their favour. So EnVyUs do wrestle themselves around away from Astralis, but Astralis, no surprise, they're buying into this round. Dupree, Mag 7.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed with that, though, Astralis. They had them hook, line, and sinker as a 4 versus 3, and then a 3 versus 5. And then all of a sudden, EnVyUs had run roughshod over that bomb site. Not sure how Astralis didn't manage to pick up any of those kills, but nevertheless, brilliant stuff there from EnVyUs, really showing why they're a world-class outfit right now. KennyS with that sniper in hand. He's pretty comfortable when that's the case. Nothing of the like on the other side. Device does have the sniper as well, but nothing of the likes of the resources for the CTs.
No real surprise to see Dupree playing in a very aggressive position. He's only got that Mag 7 and it's best dealing damage at close quarters, so playing up in that SL. He doesn't really have the support of his teammates though, so it's a tough prospect for him if they do decide to try and overwhelm him in that SL, but you can see they've placed a premium on the B halls, the brown halls, and there's only Zipnik's holding on that inside bomb site.
Yeah, it should be an actual inside hit coming here pretty soon, or are they going to go back down the ladder? Only time will tell. It looks as though they're sort of regrouping towards the small ladder side of things.
And this is where it could get hairy for Dupree. You can see he's sort of half in, half out the door, just awaiting that pop flash. He does get caught by it, so he knows something's up. There's 37 seconds remaining in the round, and we do see Dupree potentially getting a frag. He does take down Apex, looking for that second frag there. Will he be traded? It actually gets KennyS as well. So this is fantastic for him. Obviously, the money bonus is aside of some great shooting as now it's all on Devil and Happy. Happy gets taken down at Vines there, so that lurk has been eliminated. And now Devil is trying to fight his way out the T-connector. He's faced with Zipnik's and Device, and time is running out. He will enter into a spray there. As now, unfortunately, they are far better dancers than him, and that round will go the way of Astralis.
Certainly will. Lovely round there for Astralis. It was about the lack of punch there through the middle of the round for EnVyUs. They got in good positions and then just couldn't make it work. I really thought they were going to favour that inside bomb site, but then they ran down the small ladder into the waiting arms of Dupree with that shotgun, and after that it was going to be a pretty grim affair. And it turned out to be so as they went down in that round, and now they trail 4-1 in this game. The lone rifleman, Happy, will bring that AK-4 with the head armor as well, but Kierby won't stand to wait too long as he takes down NBK. Will be a spray from Carrigan, picking up one, but gets traded out by KennyS. Decent start here for the terrorists as Devil picks up that Deagle headshot, or just Deagle frag, mind you, onto Kirby. Thought it was a headshot because it was a one bullet, but it was just KennyS here fighting against Zipnik's, and look at this here from KennyS. Now he's got an AWP. I thought he was going to go for that there, but it appears not.
Well, it's now on Dupree's shoulders. He does take down one. felling the bomb, and he knows where Kenny S is, but Kenny's still got that rifle in hand. Going to be a smoke separating there, but Dupree just catching his shoulder before he stepped. Pick up that headshot on the Kenny S. They won't recover the AWP though, so it has been an expensive round for Astralis. And EnVyUs not going to have the money to buy into that round either, despite going on, well, what some would deem as a half buy, but I'm not really too sure it was necessary there. They have a tendency to force into rounds that they don't need to, but look, either way, Kenny S is the only one with any real bank.
Yeah, it's a bit weird for me, this buy here from EnVyUs. No armor at all, and also spending a lot of money on those deagles where they could be saving that for more resource later. Whilst it may not matter the very next gun round, the one after that, all these little purchases add up over the course of the game, and you might end up just being shortchanged 2 rounds out of the 15, but that's enough at this level, as we saw last match, where it went right down to the wire.
Yeah, the margins are so slim, and, you know, a small economic mistake, such as the one we spoke of in terms of buying pistols when necessarily you don't need to, can cost you, as we do see Devil's feet get shot up, and will unfortunately take a lot of damage there, as now Carrigan steps on Vines with Kyobe. They do find the frags, and Kyobe, quite a sharp frag there onto Devil. Now just left with Happy. Carrigan finishes him off, and a nice clean round there for Astralis.
Yeah, lovely stuff there. Pretty default from Astralis. Nothing to get really excited over, to be honest. They just held default spots and made the shots. That was pretty much it. That was the story of the round. EnVyUs, though, right now buying into this 8th round. And they need to get their T-side firing on not all cylinders, but at least some cylinders. All the members quiet as a church here, and their T-side of their map choice, which a little bit surprising given that the way that they played last map on the map choice of Astralis. However, Astralis now playing very well, and if things had have gone differently in the latter stages of the last map, we could be talking about Astralis in a dominant 2-0. But as it stands, EnVyUs fought back really hard in that first map, and now Astralis are doing the same to them here.
EnVyUs just relying on the team play as opposed to those set smoke strategies that some teams do come out with on train. But you can see they're all grouped up here in the brown holes. We're going to try and take some territory here. There is going to be at least one smoke coming in from Apex, so that one is going to go down in between the trains, and that's going to try and get them entry onto this bomb site. But you can see Zipnix is the only one tasked with holding the inside bomb site. He will be joined by Device very, very shortly. So EnVyUs setting themselves up here, ready to go.
Absolutely, it's going to be an inside bomb site hit here, and Device is trying to swindle on the back of that low ramp train. He will find one straight away. Nice frag there from Device, but he's got so much more work to do for his team, as Zipnix has been taken down almost instantly. Device gets taken down. Kenny S, lovely repick there. Kirby able to do a lot of damage there onto Devil. Now he will fight at that high ramp position. Dupree goes down, as does Kirby, and now Carrigan's left in a 2 versus 1, but Kenny S has that scope fixed on the target, and it will be a difficult prospect here for Carrigan. It's not unfathomable, but it is very unlikely. Kenny S, once he's got you in his scope, you're not long for this world. And Astralis lose that one, but still remain up 6-2 with a chance here to fight back.
Kenny S, the Grim Reaper, when he has that AWP in his hands, and when your time is up, your time is up. And Team EnVyUs find themselves with their second round of the half. Kenny S again with that magic stick in his hands. Device being tasked with going up against him there with that AWP, that fast smoke outside. Not being acted on too much by EnVyUs at the moment. They're going to try and send themselves back through the white halls there. Perhaps put some pressure on the SL8 in the round, but Device now forced to fall back. He's the only one holding this inside bomb site.
Yeah, he's falling back quite a large distance, and it's a shame because this hit from EnVyUs is coming into the inside bomb site. MBK opens up with a lovely shot onto Dupree. He's gone a little bit quiet here, Dupree, and he needs to continue to play well if Astralis are going to try and close out this half. MBK gets very aggressive. He's going to get one. Can he get a second? No. Device there trading very, very rapidly in order to stop that exchange from getting worse for his team. Now it's on Happy and Devil, 2 versus 3. Carrigan, Device, Kirby working their way into the inside bomb site here. Carrigan taps the bomb, moves towards the low to try and flush out someone, anyone. He does find one onto Devil. Now it's just about Device hitting the orb shot to save the defuse, and it does come in. So beautiful stuff there from the Astralis teammates. Lovely retake, and Astralis pick up their 7th under heavy duress.
A grenade doing a lot of damage there to Carrigan. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. He didn't go down, and a lot of faith being placed in his teammate there by Carrigan in order to hit that shot while he stuck the defuse. So EnVyUs now getting themselves reset. They did get that bomb plant, so they do have a little bit of money into the round. They're going to be buying up on those Desert Eagles that we've seen them use time and time again here. And some grenades just crushing NBK in the early exchanges. So he's had his wings clipped somewhat as Apex takes down Dupree. Swift 1B headshot. And geez, it's become a familiar sight, hasn't it? Those EnVyUs Deagles are really reaping some rewards.
They're potent. Those Deagles are potent, and every time we seem to switch to the camera, Auto Director seems to just find the right kill. It's amazing how that works. But the Deagles have been on point here for EnVyUs, not just for one player either. It's been NBK one round, Devil the next, Kenny X the next. So, and of course, Happy, legendary with the Deagle. And once again, he's just firing away and gets 2 of these players from Astralis so low. They need to be very careful here. They cannot afford to lose another gun. And luckily, Carrigan able to take down Happy. But once again, you see the sort of round Astralis can have from time to time, just falling to pieces at the end there and almost giving up way more than they needed to there.
Every time I see Happy with a Desert Eagle, I have my heart in my mouth because I know that there's just that potential for something huge to unfold. And that was very nearly the case there, but unfortunately fell short. 99 points of damage being done to Device, but no conversion. And now we see Astralis just really starting to break away with that 8-2 lead here. Now EnVyUs on that buy round. You can see though they're light a little bit on utility. They've only got a couple of smokes across the board. Everyone really, but Devil has been tasked with the drawing that short straw, that Tech 9. The rest of them are going to try and put some concentration towards the Vines area here. You can see they're set up, ready to go. We're going to try and maybe send Devil in to try and do some damage and then trade out from there. But at the moment, they're really just waiting out any sort of CT aggression. Astralis quite passive in their setup.
They certainly are. This is exactly what I thought would win them the previous round for Astralis. I just cast my mind back to a few rounds ago where EnVyUs executed over the outside bomb site with a man deficit and still managed to get up there. And Happy will spot one out, but he won't be able to finish off Kyobi, who goes right down to 11 points of health. So he survives with his heart in his mouth, and that's a triple from Dupree. 6 spray down there. And the entry fragger for Astralis there, opening it up and letting his M4 do the work for him. Great effort there, controlling the recoil and picking up the triple. Now that's a very valuable round because it'll force Envy back onto these pistols, which they seem to have been on just about forever.
I haven't seen a lineup like that since the iPhone 6 launch. Tough crowd.
I'm not going to give you that. It's been a long morning, but I'm not going to give you that. You're better than that. You can do more. Astralis here, 9-2, and the onus on them right now. They've got a couple of Deagles once again, which is no surprise at all, but there hasn't been any real pressure here put on. It's just Zipnix and Device there firing away at a couple of terrorists, and they're just trying to bait out resources at this point, waste a bit of time, waste a bit of money, and eventually this round will go the way of Astralis. In fact, the last 2 members of the terrorist team are about to go down. We see Kirby Dupree picking up the last 3. Astralis looking strong here on the EnVyUs map pick, and they're up 10-2.
Their job is being made so much easier by the fact that EnVyUs just keep forcing into these rounds with Desert Eagles. They could simply be giving themselves more gun rounds if they just exhibited a little bit of control on a couple of these rounds. And well, you know, ultimately it's costing them less bites of the cherry, isn't it?
It is. It is. Those Deagles, though they won them so many rounds on Mirage, so it's so difficult to tell them to stop doing it when so often those exact pistols are their source of much joy for them and much success. It is very, very difficult to tell them to stop, but NBK, don't tell them to stop that. Device gets chopped down where he stands. And that's a great peek there from Kirby. He should be able to find a kill there, but he hasn't heard Apex get close. And that's a lovely bit of teamwork there from EnVyUs, just baiting out the kill onto Kirby. And they'll take a one-man advantage into this outside bomb site hit. However, dupreeh has managed to get himself into the drop room, and I'm not sure that anyone from EnVyUs knows he's there.
But Happy is doing what he does best and has lurked all the way through to CT spawn. He's going to make his way up the CT ramp there and now towards the outside site. But this is a powerful position now that dupreeh has actually got himself into, because he can really do some damage here if this SL goes unchecked. Despite the best work of Happy, he does take down kennyS. That bomb has been taken down. Happy's in a good position. Trades out with dupreeh, and now Apex spurred into action. They need to collect that bomb first, though. 30 seconds remaining. Carrigan just left to contend with, and he's going to rotate his way through the SL here. So there is a real chance that they could run into a bit of trouble.
Yeah, the smoke there coming out just in time for Carrigan. He's sitting in it, though. Will MBK know? He fires a couple of bullets, but he hasn't been hit just yet to death. But Carrigan does take a bit of damage through the front of the smoke. He will try and get the flash through and realizes he can't get the job done as he slides away up the ladder. He'll live to fight another day. Carrigan there on 42 points of health. Astralis 10-2, about to become 10-3, as Carrigan has absolutely no interest in this one. Great round from EnVyUs, but there was the opportunity there for Astralis to pinch it away until right at the very end.
Yeah, dupreeh doing a great job there in ESL, taking down the bomb. But look, I thought Happy could have done a lot more with that position. Obviously, he didn't know the whereabouts of the CT, so there was a real chance there that EnVyUs could have won that round with perhaps less loss on their perspective. They will regain the AWP at least, so EnVyUs will take that into the next round. They will presumably give it back to kennyS, but EnVyUs now find themselves an important third round, so they're going to need to start to build from here, though. Astralis, their money situation is good enough for them to buy into the round quite comfortably, but it is Device again, picking up the AWP instead of Carrigan.
Yeah, if the EnVyUs guys get to 10-5, this will be a great score for them. I think that they feel confident with 5. They could shut down the CT side of things, particularly with Kenny on their side, as well as a bunch of those other sharp players like Apex that love to control the outside bomb site. But Kenny's going to be the main driving force behind this one, and they'd love to get 5 on the board for him to try and defend. But right now, Astralis playing their A game, bringing their A game, and are well ahead on the scoreboard. It is 10-5, as 10-3 rather. I wasn't saying the time, I was saying the score. 10-3. Zipnik's now nading through. That's a lovely grenade. It's almost like a heat seeker through that window, and it's collected its target to perfection. Great grenade there. And as we hit the minute mark, all 10 players left alive and kicking. And it's just a matter of where EnVyUs is going to take this bomb. But I know that they're notoriously slow, but even by their standards, this is amazingly slow work from them.
And now you can see Astralis just using their utility to try and slow things up even further, so delaying any executes that are going to come out potentially. The Molotovs go down on the high ramp there. EnVyUs is going to flash himself into the SL, and they're going to try and put pressure on this outside bomb site. Devil is the one solo lurking Vines here. Device has that AWP, spots out Apex, takes him down. kennyS though finds a reply. Carrigan has found Devil at Vines, so that threat has been eliminated for now. They need to get onto this bomb site, find the frags. MBK does his best to try and make things happen, as now it's a 2 versus 3 situation. AWP still in play. 3 versus 1. kennyS finds a reply quite quickly. 2 versus 1 now. 15 seconds to play with. He needs to find the frags because the plant is probably not going to come, but that headshot, close to it, gets the win as dupreeh takes down kennyS. Not a lot of time to work with. Had to make the frags. And as good a player as he is, unfortunately, it just wasn't going to happen for him.
No, it wasn't. Astralis, they're doing a great job of holding on right to the very end. Device staying alive, and he's only died 6 times. So that's a great stat category for him, as you know, being the primary AWPer there. Only dying 6 times means that AWP's going to play a lot of the time, and he's doing a great job. But he's going to be faced with a pretty difficult task here, as all the members of EnVyUs are making their way towards the inside, apart from Happy, and they're going to continue to push to the brown halls. But a series of AWP shots and grenades will slow the progress of the terrorists. They're being forced back away from inside and into the waiting arms of Device, as Devil tries to get away as well. So 3 members left for EnVyUs in this first half, and it doesn't look like they're going to get much done. 12-3 Astralis, and surely this is enough.
That was a very, very tough half for EnVyUs. And look, from what we saw from them yesterday, they really didn't have a lot of set strategy on this map. And they relied a lot on their teamwork, and their teamwork simply wasn't allowed to happen. Astralis' use of utility really slowed their progression onto the bomb sites, and that's what they relied on yesterday, particularly against G2, was the fact that their teamwork was quite on point, and pincering those bomb sites with such teamwork, it didn't happen. Astralis weren't so forgiving in their CT holds.
No, they weren't, and it's all about device. And if he's up and he's running, then it makes it so difficult for the other team to actually decide where he is, because as an opposing player, you don't want to go to where he is AWPing. So it's a gamble of, you know, will he be inside, will he be outside? And the longer that you stay alive as an AWPer and as, you know, just device in general, the more choices that the other team's going to have to make, and the more time they're going to chew up making it. And the number of times there we saw EnVyUs just running out of time to operate. Even when KennyS got in a couple of favourable positions, the clock was already at a point where they had to make a move and they couldn't afford to wait any longer.
Yeah, they were just chewing up the time so well, weren't they, Astralis? And you could see even then at the 40-second mark, the 50-second mark, they were using their utility to just slow things down even further. So the fact that EnVyUs were taking so long was then being further exploited by Astralis with that use of Molotovs and smokes to just slow up and choke up those choke points.
Yeah, for me, EnVyUs here obviously need the pistol. If Astralis get the pistol, it's going to be a long way back here for EnVyUs, and it certainly still is. Don't get me wrong, 12-3 is a very long way back, but it is doable if you get that pistol. It becomes 12-6, you get the first gun round, becomes, you know, 12-8. All of a sudden, you're in the mix, you're getting more confident, the scores become tight, and then it sort of changes. But for the moment, Astralis are going to be well out in front, and they're going to try and win this pistol and close EnVyUs out. Because what you don't want to do is make simple mistakes early on in your half as Astralis and allow EnVyUs back into the game. That's certainly not what you want to do.
Yeah, at this stage for them, it's all about those little victories, those little milestones, getting the next round and just navigating their way through. But of course, they've got to get themselves through the pistol round first, and I believe they're actually going to be live into that one in just a moment, guys. So we will be back with the second half here of EnVyUs versus Astralis. This was EnVyUs' map pick. They've got to make it work for themselves here on the CT side. It is the slightly advantageous side, but you can see they had a rough half on their T side to begin proceedings against Astralis, and now they've got a chance to make amends.
They certainly do, but amends is a long way away. As I said, Dupree and co going to push this one towards Vines. And they're going very, very quickly, actually. Harrigan spotting one out early, and they have given away their position, but they don't care. NBK is going to come around the corner. He needs to find one. He's firing away rapidly. Apex does get one, but the frag will go the way of Zipnix eventually. And the CTs need to be careful here. They can't overextend and get picked off. That's exactly what Apex does, as well as Happy. And now Devil plays a huge role in this one as he circles his opponents with that kit out, as does KennyS. KennyS fires away, but he's in danger here of being taken out. No, he flicks to his right and gets that one to go. KennyS onto Zipnix, and now it's 2 versus 1, but KennyS has the bomb.
Oh, the headshots from KennyS are sublime, as now his survivability is being tested. 1 versus 1 here with Device. They know roughly where each other are, but you can see KennyS is just changing his position, making it difficult. Now Device has to come and find him, and they've spotted each other out, but Device should be able to collect this bomb. But I think at the moment he's just interested in taking that aim duel with KennyS. Both the star players for their teams respectively with that AWP are going to have to make their pistols work, but KennyS completely changing his position now. Will that catch Device off guard?
Device there faking out the plant. I don't think it has caught him off guard, but he's not aware at all. KennyS has walked into mid-con. This could be a huge play from Kenny. He fires away, but he doesn't get the kill. That's crucial from KennyS. He had the jump on Device, and you need to make that count as Device wheels or his way around the back of the train. KennyS will get on the bomb, but it'll all be up to Device here. Kenny on such low health, and that will be Device finishing it off. So Kenny, so unlucky there. He did all the hard work getting back to mid-con. Then at the end of the day, the aim fell short, which it doesn't usually roll off the tongue very well when it comes to KennyS.
And almost instantaneously, Apex has brought that scout out. So EnVyUs have shown their hand. They're going to buy into this round with some pistols across the board as well to support that. And it's a viable strategy on train. It's a big risk to take, though, given that they are down by so much. Sometimes teams would play it a little bit safer than that. But you can see Astralis sending numbers towards the vines here at the moment. That's exactly where Kenny S with that Desert Eagle. He's doing a lot of damage there. Takes down one, but Kirby finds the trade into Apex. The crossfire is dismantled, and now we see them burst onto this outside bomb site. The pressure is coming out from Astralis, and the crossfires are being slowly pulled apart. As you can see, though, the pistols are doing a lot of damage here. The investment has been worth it so far for EnVyUs, and now 2 versus 3.
Yeah, but I actually like that round for Astralis because it means that they've just basically gone out as a team and fought as a team. And this might not end up working out for them, but I much prefer that to waiting around for days for players just to get deagle headshots on you. So that was a great team fight by Astralis. They all came out together, forced those deagles to run out of ammo, use those rifles to their advantage, and eventually outmaneuver their opponents. But yeah, I much prefer that style of eco round for Astralis than the one where they sit back and just allow themselves to be mercilessly picked off by those insane EnVyUs deagles.
You know, I must admit I do agree with that one. It's basically better for them to group up and attack the bomb site as an angry mob per se, and if they're going to encounter the pistol, it's a great chance of them just trading out as necessary. And Astralis, 14-3, this is becoming a bit of a blowout here for EnVyUs as they've opted to buy into this one again. So Kenny S is the only one with a real rifle, but no utility to support that at all. Apex picking up that scout and some 5.7s and P250s across the board. So this is a massive gamble from EnVyUs. This is one that if they do lose, they're going to surrender match point and again be on a similar buy.
Yep, it was the same buy that won them the game on train. My apologies, on Mirage. In that when it was 14-12, they had the same option available to them, and this came through for them. So while sometimes it looks ugly and it doesn't work out, other times it certainly does. So it's going to have to here for EnVyUs because they're up against it right now. 14-3. They're getting whitewashed on their map pick. And Astralis here. It's their game to lose, but I did say that last time.
And they're exploding out into this bomb site here. You can see Astralis are making it work, but Kenny S with that rifle, he's the only one with the superior weaponry, but that is a one-tap there from Device. He's been silenced, and that rings out across the bomb train. As now you see Zipnik's also find Apex as well. It's a 2 versus 3 situation. Dupree is quite low. Zipnik's also quite low as well. And you can see Happy, he does take the bomb planner down, but it's now down to a 2 versus 1 situation. MBK makes his way out the CT connector there. He's going to find out Device. They're going to do the dance around the bomb train. The question is who can do the best Michael Flatley impression as they do wind their way around. Unfortunately, MBK goes down there. Match point to Astralis. 15-3 the score. And you can see again, their hand has been forced, EnVyUs. They're going to have to buy into this one with pistols once more.
Yeah, that was almost deja vu for Device there at the back of the bomb train, getting that plant down and then juking around and making sure that he ends up with the round win. That's a perfect game plan for Astralis, though. I guess their end game, if you will, is to eventually trade out long enough so that Device ends up in an infinite number of 1v1s.
This amount of force buying, though, I mean, I've only ever seen it from a team like Mortal Kombat before. The old E-Frag lineup.
Yeah, they were very heavy on their buys, but I think this is out of need here for EnVyUs. They just looked at their money and thought to themselves, well, we're so far down the rabbit hole, we need to keep putting pressure on so they don't get their economy so fired up. But now it's 4 versus 2. Kirby's in a great spot here, though, to make a play. As he continues to maneuver around that smoke. He gets 1. Will he get 2? He does. This is all Kirby here for Astralis. He gets 3 and 4. No, those last 2 belong to Kerrigan. And that will be the map to Astralis. They split them 1-1. I guess we were right in the original picks when we said that they would split them. I didn't know which way they would go. Beautiful first map by EnVyUs to bring that back. But, I mean, Astralis could have easily won that 2-0-2. They were in position in map 1 to finish them off. They couldn't quite do it. And then they came out with reckless abandon on train and just gave EnVyUs the business.
They did. It was an absolute slobber knocking there on the second map. EnVyUs, the holes in their train defense have been quite glaring. Well, Astralis were well able to find those, and so they split the points there, and we will see them take a map apiece. But that concludes the European division for today, match day 7 in the ESL Pro League. We are going to be bringing you some of the North American League action, though, so if you are keen for more CSGO action, we will have it here on the ESL Pro League B stream. We'll, of course, be bringing you that North American division action. We'll have NRG up against Immortals, and the second match of the day there will actually be the new Winter Fox lineup.
All Aussie roster. So the second team from Australia, apart from the Renegades, to make their way across the world to play in North America and represent the green and gold, as well as the new organisation Winter Fox. But it should be an absolute pleasure bringing you those North American games this afternoon.
And their opponents for that match will actually be the American Sweethearts, Liquid. So it's going to be an absolute blockbuster of a matchup. We're keen to see how that new Winter Fox lineup performs. It's been a while since we've actually seen them in action, and being fellow Aussies ourselves, we've got a slight bias for them, but we're not going to admit that, are we, Pete?
Me? Bias? Never. Stop it.
Either way, it's going to be fantastic action, guys. That one is due to kick off in roughly about an hour and a half or so, guys. So stick around. We'll be back with more of that action later on. It's been fantastic bringing you the European action so far. I've been Jim Nesso, joining this PDG. We've been produced by Still Barlin. He's still manning that desk like a machine. And guys, it's been fun. You enjoy your evening.